Yo, what up, homies? It's your boy, Hash. Info. How you doing, homies? I'd like you to take the time to learn about something. We don't just get dumber on this channel. We get far more than that. I can't even express to you. If you live in the West, you're kept down. Not by some of you aren't. There's Skull and Bones, all these different groups that tells the real story in certain ways of why what we do here, how to control here. That's not my purpose, is to control. My purpose is to enlighten and tighten up this world of unearthly beings we are. Did you know people with blue eyes aren't from here? You know that. It's wild. Isn't that wild? Blue-eyed people are we are new. It wasn't around. So you can Google it. You can look it up. There's a term that's slipping me right now, and it's all good. I'm a boss. You don't have to. You can go research stuff on your own if you're such a boss and you're a know-it-all. You should already know it if you're a know-it-all. What do you know about left-handed people? Do you know left-handed people are from here, but right-handed people aren't? Did you know that? Did you know our heart was added to us? It's a well-known fact in the cardiologist world that the heart is one of the most unique electromagnetic devices in our body. It is exactly that. Did you know you are a robot? You are a synthetic droid, like Pinocchio, who thought he was a real boy. You know, the story of Pinocchio dumbfounded me, astounded me for decades. Do you know what happens when you are perishing? Your heart stops. Do you know how they start your heart? With electricity. Now, some of you with a tiny brain are going, "Oh, well, I knew that." Well, then you obviously also knew you were a robot. Do you know that your blood is full of heavy metals, of metals? Iron is a metal. You have magnesium, zinc. I could go on, but I don't think you would. Manganese. Many others I can't think of right now, as this is just a general idea. You can go research how many different enzymes and protoplasms and neutrons and atoms and electrons your body has. There are 75 different ways you can prove you're a synthetic Pinocchio. Now you ask yourself, is it possible to make a Pinocchio? The book Frankenstein? Could it be real? Why are there lions and minotaurs with human bodies and lions' heads? Minotaur heads. Deer, centaurs with human heads and deer bodies. Well, folks, did you know science has created a zebra and a donkey? A zonkey? What am I getting into? Genetics. Something most of you have very, very, very tiny amounts of knowledge on, if any. Completely dumbed down. The old world was all science, all magic. But now, you're left with these feeble thoughts of what's on Netflix tonight. Hey? Trust me when I say you are far more powerful than you will ever grant yourself the accommodation of understanding. The ability to grasp what I've said is going to fall short on so many of you, and it's so sad. The amount of people that have been fooled and dumbed down is such a high degree. I don't even feel sad anymore. I feel 100% defeated in the simple fact that the majority will never know. So evil has won in that sense. You have to understand how serious that is, that evil has already won. For your parents to not understand where we come from and what we truly are and what they are is very sad. The secrecy behind so many entities is so apparent, yet none of you ask questions because you're fearful of the outcome. You're fearful of the answers. And fear guides you. So what does fear guide you to? A life of less. Less what? Less being, less knowing, less understanding. Being less in the end, right? Wisdom and knowledge is something that you have to attain. It's not going to give itself to you. I do strongly believe that there is a channel. You have to understand, a channel isn't the channel that you've been dumbed down to understand. A channel is just that. A way for water, which is information. Science has uncovered that all water contains memory. Do you understand the meaning of what I just said entirely? Your body is 66% water. So you have old memories. You are literally an old soul based off of what water lies in you, right? Now, of course, your water will become tainted the older you are in this archaic, corrupt, illy designed system for evil. The reason the system is in place is solely for evil. It's not so you can accrue knowledge at a fast and steady pace. Evil hides knowledge. Public knowledge and private knowledge are two very different things. One will make you dumb. The other will set you free. Which one do you think you get a hold of every day? Which one do you think you have to pay very, very highly to attain some of, to see certain books? Knowledge is in books that you will never see, that your eyes will never read a page, if not, the back page of the book. You will never see a word within the most powerful books that exist. Do you think this is for bettering you? Or do you think this is by design to control you? I'd like to leave you with this final thought, as I know I've overwhelmed, 60 to 90% of you tonight, depending on how many bosses tuned in early. I can also guarantee you this. We live in a world that is an enclosed system, an electrical system, with enclosed trapped gases inside of it. All right. Have you ever taken a balloon and rubbed it on your head? That's static electricity. Okay. That is what's up in the sky right now, probably above most of North America today or at some point this week. We assume that rain is made naturally, is the best way to put that. I can't even believe how easy that came out. When you learn how things are done, you learn. This is SimCity. Everything is run off electronics. Everything is manually manipulated, not naturally nature. We don't impact this planet. We create and keep it going. For people to not understand that is quite sad and hilarious all at once. Google the Rainmakers. Once you do that, you'll quickly see back during the Vietnam War, there was an ABC group who apparently, possibly, monsoon rain seasoned the Vietnamese people to aid the army in their fight against them. I'm being very the Vietnam War was against two nations, North American nation against the Vietnamese people. They went over there. I don't say we meaning me. I mean the people that run North America for the bigger throne, if I may. We speak English in North America because England runs and owns North America. Does that make sense to you? So if it doesn't, you're very, very sad. And if you're older than me, times that by 10. How did you not know England owns America? Whether it be silently now or in your face, England owns America. England owns Canada. The Royals' face is on my money in Canada. So most people assume they understand this world, but you would only understand a tiny fraction if you were to really be told the truth about everything, which is majority of everything hidden you can find in Russia, in Russian media, in Asian media, which I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people highly respect Asian culture for mathematics, for history, many things. Yes, all countries are tyrannical in nature, but I do believe that other countries who say other countries are so tyrannical do far worse in their own country. And you can see it by looking around right now. Are there people being paid a lot less to do a lot more than you right now, who are of a different skin tone or a different nationality or they speak a different dialect than your primary dialect where you live in North America? Quickly say yes. That is despicable. It's despicable that we, the people of this nation, allow others to profiteer off of the backs of others. First, we create the jobs that prop up their economy, and then they steal our jobs from underneath our feet and sell us out to another country to do the bidding. And this is the way the world has worked for a century that you can recall, in every case, except for a few countries who remain very respectable and don't hire foreign workers to do those horrible jobs that are completely... Nobody's doing those jobs in Canada or in the States. It's all... And I'm not saying some people wouldn't. I'm saying the majority don't apply. Probably because of poor wages as well from these multi-trillion-dollar corporations that all hide under, different company names, but it's the same family. You know what I mean? The same person has owned 90% of every business in your country for 100 years. They just split it up like they do in England with dukes and duchesses, and they kind of quadrant off different specific smaller areas, and they'll have somebody, a sheriff, this or that, govern those entities, those businesses, whether it be forestry, mining, any of it. It's all owned by the same person. And that is absolutely facts, and they are very good at hiding uh, the actual owner. Just like you can't figure out who owns banks, right? There are people that own those banks, but you can't figure out their names. Do you know why? They designed the system that covers up everything and hides their true nature, their true person, or if they even are, right? You don't know if you work for AI, if you're in some huge multinational corporation. You may never have seen it. Sure, there's like a guy that's a president, but you've never seen all the shareholders of those businesses. You don't really understand what I understand, but I'll tell you straight up. If time travel is possible, it's being used against us, and they control the stock markets, right? Think, if you were to want to come back in time, what would you put in place to ensure that you were super rich as soon as you got here? The stock market, gambling on baseball, gambling on any sport, right? So stock market and gambling is gonna be how you could track time travelers. The richest people in the world who mysteriously bought up all the shares of, name a soda pop company. Yeah, that's right. Starts with a P, or the C, right? Soda. Those two alone. And then you got the computers, IBM, Apple, the shares in those companies, to own them from the get. And then of course Bitcoin would be another prime example of what I would call, for time travelers, it'd be in time. You need to have what is known as, when you're traveling, you need to have what is known as a landmark. So you use a time as a landmark, a point in time as a landmark. You come to that time, hopefully for sure, at the beginning or just before, or years before Bitcoin comes out. You place some gambling bets, or you buy some businesses that you know are cheap then and before, or after, right after the war or whatever. You buy these big businesses that you know profit right after, 1947, 1955, whatever it is. And these companies go huge across the world, whatever it is. Toilet paper, toothpaste, you name it, hair dryers, right? Shampoo, there's and clothing, you name it, jewelry, right? Mines, right? You have a mine, it's an exact place, right? Brazil has more gold than any other place in the world. It has the richest, they believe, a meteor from, I can't remember the name of the place, but they believe a meteor crashed there. It is by far, it's 40 times richer than the ground in Alaska, with pure assay results. So what it means is, like, the gold in Alaska is 80% pure gold. The gold in Brazil is 95 to 99% pure. Now, if you mine 100,000 ounces of gold, you have, 15 to 20% more money, if it's even more than that, actually, because the pure the gold, once you get to 99, you get the most for, like, it's extra than you get for Alaskan gold, for instance. You get the most. I can't remember how much it is. Let's say $2,000 an ounce for Alaskan gold, $3,000 an ounce for gold from Brazil, right? Roughly, like, give or take 400, 500. But yeah, per ounce. Now times that by 100,000. So $500 or $1,000 times 100 grand, right? It's a lot more zeros. Add three more zeros to the end of 100 grand. That's just the extra you made that year, right? If your mine is in business for 30 years or 100 years, times that new number, by 30 or 50, whatever, how many years your mind's in business for, right? That's over and above the other 90% or 80, whatever your mind was making of the first number, right? So anyway, if you all want to do math one day, you should come to this channel. I'll help you understand math. I speak incredible, extraordinary English. My ability to understand is very complex. It's extremely high. I'm intuitive on a next level sort of way, right? I ate a big bowl of berries, and I'm happy to say I'm gonna make a salad here in a few. So I'm just gonna get the lettuce and chop it in a bowl, wash it, and away she goes, Make sure these go over here. Glasses came, so we'll put those right here. Nice and safe, I guess, over here. There. You have to really read that wording carefully. Like if 1945 was the end of the war, look at those times. Why did they create so much dang, I gotta get SDs. I haven't been SDs for a while, so let's see if I get my character. You really have to ask yourself if we live in a world that's, so open and free, can you travel to Antarctica? Why are they keeping Antarctica from us, right? How come you haven't seen anybody with videos from Antarctica? How come they don't have live streams in Antarctica? It's the forbidden continent, you guys. What kind of resources does Antarctica? Why do they even? Why would somebody nuke Antarctica in the first place? It's supposed to just be an iceberg. There's nothing there, we're told. Oh wait, there's a huge pyramid that's still working, and it's an energy inducer. It's creating massive amounts of energy that could power Canada for 10 years every day. What? Think about why America wanted to go to Antarctica. You have to do the research and the math. Admiral Byrd, Operation High Jump, Operation Paperclip are connected. But they don't tell you about that area, right? They don't explain to you why they're connected. Because that's not public knowledge. You can't search a public internet forum. You would have to have papers you'd have to be connected to a body of people, groups of people with, what they call insider information. There's another word for it, pertaining to this very thing, right? You're not going to get that information given to you because you're not going to like the answer that is given. So what they do is they don't show you because you're not going to like it, right? Why do you have a meter attached to the side of your house? So they can get richer, right? Why is there... Well, now I gotta not say what I'm going to say, but... There are groups of people who know why World War II started. Huge groups of people. And they keep quiet because they profit off of it, okay? Solely that reason, okay? Remember that England did as much damage as possible around the world. And we don't talk about England ever in a bad nature. England destroyed almost every country that had their own people living there. They took their lands. They stole their identities. Why? Why don't you talk about that? Because they control you and you're not allowed to. That makes you not free. Do you understand that? They'll take away the lands again and say where you can live, and this is the area that you cannot hunt in. Have you heard a story about Sherwood Forest? Nottingham is a real place. But we only talk about the one place that where they need to go next because, well, this is the next plan, right? So it's always they do this, they do that. They don't ever look at themselves and go, you know what, we really screwed up for the last 400 years. We're actually going to lay down all our weapons, destroy our nukes safely, right? I don't know how to do that, like armament or whatever they call it, decommission their nukes, which again, that stuff still sits somewhere in a barrel and leaks out eventually, right? They're not going to build no cubes, no steel 400-foot thick cubes to store all that gunk in for the rest of the time. They don't care about, where that leaks. So, but remember, every day you got to make sure you're on track with what they're doing, right? You got to make sure that you've paid an amount of money that equals what's suffice. Remember Trump saying, "Hey, you guys all got to put in your money, your 2%?" And nobody liked when Trump said that, right? But now everyone doesn't realize you pay 30% every year to somebody, right? To somebody. That money goes to a royal coffer. But how do you not know that? How do you not know that the Sheriff of Nottingham still exists to this day? How absolutely baffled are you in life, So everybody, I hope you can honestly, my favorite story that my mother told me when she had a conscience back when she was young was Robin Hood. My favorite story was Robin Hood. Another one was The Emperor Wears No Clothes or something like that. I can't remember the title of the book, but that was an excellent book too. It's about being fooled. And that type of analogy, that type of premise has stuck with me throughout time. And I will fucking never be that dirty old emperor that swears he's a boss, but is naked. A foolish, naked old man standing there. I will never be. Do you understand me? I will never be. Rastafari. See, there's something most of you don't understand. You can make your life correlate. Your life can have serious meaning if you give it meaning. If you have passion on passion on passion about life itself, right? One of my favorite people to watch on TV for decades was David Suzuki. He would awe and mesmerize me. Really appreciate David Suzuki very much. And he created a beautiful monster in me that only loves to absorb knowledge. I soak it up on the next level. I fear I will never stop accruing knowledge. It's so fun. It's so fun to learn, When you go, finally, after all these years, all my questions I've always wanted to know about, they're answered. Who's answering them? Thyself. Do you know why? I will never give up. I will never be that dirty old emperor that's just believing what somebody else is saying. Do you understand me? That's how we got in that place. You have to know for yourself when you look in the mirror that your clothes fit you and suit you. You have to know for yourself that Antarctica is a lot more than a dirty old ice cube. Obviously, they fought over it. And it's not that they won, it's the area. If you read specifically, the US just got this one area. There is a lot more over there they don't got. Did you know that? Operation High Jump, they came back tuck-tailed with only a couple vessels. Now, if you were so powerful, would you wipe them all out? Or would you send them back hurting, bandaged up, dragging their hemorrhoids back to the known world? Right? Do you want to know why they call in Lord of the Rings? Do you want to know why they refer to, I believe it's Mordor, as Middle Earth? Because it's literally the middle of the plane of existence we live on. And the moon is proof of this. The moon is utter proof that the lands are hidden from us, that we live in 30% or less, 12% of the lands that actually exist, the known world. Where did all those people go? Middle Earth. Or further, right? The problem lies with the lack of imagination one has. Do you know if you can think it, it's probably happened 10 times? Any words ever said aloud have been spoken hundreds of times before. This isn't the first time these words have been spoken. And it doesn't work off influence either. It's actually off what I spoke to you about earlier. The Akashic Records is a channel, a frequency that you can connect to if you are, I guess, divine. We are all divine, but are you tainted? You had the choice to be divine, but did you take knowledge or did you take greed? Which path did you follow? Which one are you truly passionate about? Which one drives you? Quickly say money for the majority. Look around you at your parents, yes, sure, they've got a nice house, a nice car, and they're always going on vacation. Look how dumb most parents are when it comes to actually understanding the world we live in right now. Look how out of touch and out of date 90% of all our parents are. Are you kidding me? It's a joke. But again, this is by design. This is by design. You'll be hard pressed to find somebody from that's 70 years old that actually gets what I'm saying. Of course, there are a few. There ain't many. And that shows the disconnect in our civilization. That at some point, figure out what year they're from, the 50s or the 60s, there was an information shortage, or they cut people off. Or they didn't, but those people are not academics. Like, I don't want to. It's true though. Like, either your parents are really smart and they know 2-3 languages, or they're not. And this is, again, by design. Your parent is either shoveled rocks or was a professor, right? By design. You had a choice to make what greed path you chose, right? Some people who are professors still wanted to learn, right? They wanted to accrue knowledge, so they went for it, right? You have to go. Now, you're not going to find it in a public school. You're not going to get no damn knowledge in a public school. But at some of the finer schools of business and stuff like that, the lingo they use is so disgusting. It's how to control people's minds through sales, right? How to market market and control, manually manipulate the mind of a consumer with branding and marketing. Most of you don't get what I'm saying, and if you do, you just barely started to get it just now. You don't really grasp how controlled you are when it comes to what you do daily. Your influence, like what you eat. If you shut off your TV for a week and you didn't have a radio and you didn't talk to people who were big time consumers and wasters and spenders, like if they grew their own food, you'd be way healthier next week, the following week. But because you're influenced by these fast food commercials, you gotta have sticky wings and gross stuff, gross stuff. Go look around at some of the people you grew up with that are really into nature and stuff. Look at their bodies compared to yours, right? There's a huge difference in, this person never worried about their weight one time, and you spent 70 years worrying about your weight, right? But you know it all, right? You know everything. Yet you can't get to that place that's perfect that you think, you should be in, right? It's because your morals, your moral compass has been misguided. As I said in the beginning, you're extremely misguided. So a person's moral compass is smaller than ever because they just choose to not learn about what has been going on for the last 100, 200, thousands of years, right? Why are there kings lists that are so ancient? Like, the cat is a super annoying cat, so I just don't really pay much attention to him when he's doing that. That's how you win, baby. That's how you win. So we're gonna chop up some lettuce here. I'm gonna put it in this bowl over here, I do believe. I'm gonna cook up some Nada burgers. I didn't eat dinner yet. I have been really trying to cut back on how much I eat. It's working too. Like, I'm losing weight. I'm happy about it. I'm not starving myself by no means, and I would never do that. I mean, if you look at me, you know I ain't starving myself. But I will reduce my caloric intake once or twice a week, depending on my activity level. So I was busy, so I did eat, and now I haven't really been doing that much, so I fasted. That's how she goes. But yeah, why have an Antarctic treaty in the middle of nowhere? Why have a treaty that guards that area and says the renewable resources, minerals, and all mining is off limits in Antarctica? You know what I mean? Plus, on top of that, they don't want you detonating any nukes over Antarctica? But, like, what is there that they have to... Why would somebody fight in Antarctica? Oh, there's Antarctic military bases there? And the people who are there who are even far more powerful than whatever... See, you don't understand, right? The U.S., they started out with a few countries. The U.S. said in that first one, the quadrant, right? And then you look at 59, they got 12. Go to right now in 97, 98, they got 25 or 83 countries to sign this thing. It's like a gang. They're creating like a gang. It's a bunch of bullies running around in a big gang, There's too much power in the world for a group of people to be in control of anything, right? I'll explain. There's too much power for one group of people to have if they control the gang of 83 countries. That's far too much power for one person at the top, like a delegate or a president of this group to oversee. And it works by parties, right? They call them parties. There's 12 parties, or no, there was 12 parties. Now I'm not sure how many there are. It keeps going up. Like, they're just buying people in, they're like, hey, we'll do this business with you if you sign this paper. And that's what's happening. Okay, you can go look it up. But why? Again, why have all these countries ganging up signing a treaty that says if you cross this line, if you do anything here, 83 countries are coming at you now. You know what I mean? Or you don't know what I mean. Go read the description there and understand stuff. Take some time. Again, something I learned when I was 4 in 84. Read between the lines. There's a strict way that I live. The majority of 70-year-old people fucking do not live. Everything has an inner meaning, right? You write something on paper, you say it this way, but really you've been biting your tongue and it's leaking. It's leaking. You've been biting it so hard as you wrote this. This isn't the true nature of what you'd like to say, but it's what you're gonna say. Do you get what I'm saying? No? It's okay. I don't get anything to say. You know what I'm saying? So back to what I was saying. Think about this now. If you lived in a place that was Antarctica, why is America over there? If it's just ice, why do we have Bird Station? Look it up. Bird, B-Y-R-D, Station. Admiral Byrd Station. Why? Why is there a station there? Why do they need a hub in the middle of nowhere? Why? So when you ask, let's say you ask the majority of old people, hey, who won the war? It depends which country you ask that question. The answer is much different in the East. Oh. Japan knows. Japan absolutely knows everything. Japan, Russia, they all know. So if you are in Japan or Russia and you take a plane, you should be like in 4 minutes, you should be in Canada because we live on a globe, right? But if you look at how long a plane takes to go from Japan to Canada, oh, lol. You quickly see that it ain't a globe, bud. That's why globes ain't for educational purposes, okay? All right, so just try and keep up, all right, folks? Oh, this stuff's like right in front of you. It's literally right in front of you, but nobody asks questions. Everybody is a know-it-all, Walt Disney has made you a know-it-all. You, the gummy bears, and Mickey Mouse, you don't need to know. You already know. You know everything. You know as much as a gummy bear does sitting in a 2-cent box for sale. If you've been taught in any sort of system that, they told you this or that, you were lied to. But it's time that this comes out, right? Like, it's absolutely time that this comes out. And yeah, it's just getting to the point now where there's probably 1% to 3% of the population that knows we live in a dome, I think even some people that thought or knew that we lived in a dome, they've gone back the other way. And the only reason is just because NPC it's a powerful thing, right? Like when you hook up with another NPC, they can really, and if you have no friends or no life, like you join cults so fast. You gotta go to cults every Sunday. Like, there's great power in what these people do. This is how the system has gotten to the point of, 1 to 3 people understanding is because the system was created to dumb you down, right? It wasn't created to make you smarter and make you more. as I stated before, it's the opposite, right? So the indoctrination of TV has made you a fool, made you a believer, right? And hey, I was in your shoes. I was. But the thing is that I wised up. I recognized that, you know, the term local sun, you can't have a local sun being 96 million miles away. There's no fucking term local sun. You know, when the sun is over Saskatchewan locally, and it's, and then 1 hour later, locally, it's right over me. Like, how daft are you? That's the easiest way to figure it out. China built a bridge, built a bridge over the water, and they took a picture with a camera, a special type of camera that a photo. Telescopic lens with a telescopic lens, and it was of the it's not called the grade, I forget what the term, the horizon. They took a picture of the horizon for 100 miles wide. Also, in order to build this bridge, the surveyors had to account for the curvature of Earth when they built the bridge, because it was 100 fucking miles long. So there, if there was a curvature, they would have had to account for it. But when they did the math, they found there was no curvature over 100 miles. You go Google this in China. I mean, this is all in your face. But it was China who put it out, right? So what do you know about China? You think only bad thoughts about China. Well, I think good thoughts about China, because I know there are very, very smart people there. I think worse thoughts about, like, you know, when I think back of why castles were created, those were places for torture. If you look back what castles were for, they were hubs for torture. Anybody who went against the crown was tortured in these places. You go look it up. It's all history, man. That's where the term the rack comes from. You guys, most of you will never be on my level to know. It's called pacifying, okay? The term pacifism is a real thing. People's cultures and their language was stolen by the crown. They were pacified. Most of you won't ever be able to define the word pacify. So go to Google and type in, please Google define pacify for me. Simple, absolutely simple people that can't figure out a word simple as pacify. Remember that, again, most people will never be on my level. It's not that you are here to learn. When you watch this show, you come, you sit down, you question nothing and listen. And at the end, when you have uncovered what I have said is to be true with your little fingertips on the only thing you trust, which is Google, let alone asking people and uncovering information because of conversations had with people around the world like I have, shame on you for simply trusting one form of one fact sheet, right? I trust thousands of fact sheets based off of conversations had with thousands of people. We are all in agreement of where we are and what we come from. These are minds so powerful that 2 or 3 minds can make the world a better place overnight. But do you think that this world revolves around making you more, having you become more? Or does it reside off just barely getting you by, making sure the food that you eat every day is pretty crappy or very crappy, so that they can sustain, there's a term, a docile human. They can sustain you as a docile human. Dumbed down, absolutely lost your, not your anger, but your power within you that makes you divine. You've lost that over time, or in the last, generation. They say generation of people, right? But really, it's just 3.0, 4.0. It's like it's literally at a one to last year's model, 20 years ago model. We are simply a vessel that is full, or in this case, when I speak about the majority, lacking information. It is a vessel that is empty, right? So they choose to fill only their families with knowledge, their vessels, their cups of knowledge, of memory, of information, of history, of true knowledge is rich, while ours is, at very best, a docile, dumbed down uh, Care Bear gummy bear story. We get the stories of gummy bears while they're taught the way to control entire civilizations, the banking system, the monetary system. So you think that we wouldn't be able to have a system? We wouldn't be able to live without banks. There's no way humanity could exist without banks, right? That's how simple people are. You're like, well, banks are very important. They're really good at taking most of your money every 2 weeks and ensuring that if you don't pay them exact amount, they charge you fees. You know what banks are good at? The usury. Usury. Usury system. You don't know much about that, do you? Because they don't want you to know. There's 3 documentaries that are banned from the internet. They're true documentaries. One is about electromagnetic ships, which simpletons refer to as UFOs. The other is about World War II and why it was started. And the third, why don't you leave a comment down below and tell me what the third absolutely banned documentary is worldwide on the internet. It's worldwide banned. And it's a complete story of what we come from. It's amazing. It's amazing. These are put out by some of the most powerful and genius minds of, Swiss and Finnish countries. I'm not going to say the exact nation, but there are people from the East who made documentaries as well. Okay. And these are geniuses. They have gone down in halls of fame worldwide as some of the most heroic people to ever live, completely shunned and blacklisted after these documentaries were released. And these are like ancient. These are very old. Look, I'm not going to sit here and start dating some of this stuff, but let's just say they are very old documentaries. Extremely well known by historians worldwide. The true story of our history is kept from us. If you live in the West, you're told a lie. Japan knows. Look at these crappy bush huggers. Oh, we got a Donald Trump in the house, Eudora. gotta turn the oven on. You want to chop up this lettuce nice, and we're going to wash it. Have a protein shake. Maybe, I guess, an electrolyte too, I guess. I'm going to wash that. I get 9 seconds. Let's do that. We're going to cook up some Nata burgers, so those will be tasty. Plenty of water to run through. You realize I got a couple pieces of lettuce float away on me there. Choked.
That one little brown.
They're weak. Hit them now.
once, little girl.
Request backup.
Save someone's time to shine.
Slain. Request backup. Launch attack. Request backup. Launch attack. Launch attack. Request that launch attack. Launch attack. Launch attack. Launch attack.
Nana went up the bottom lane. Get out of here. Get out of here.